In this lesson, I am going to discuss number data type. Number is used to store numeric values. The number in Python has further categories like they are integers, floating point numbers, and complex numbers. I will discuss integers first. Integers are whole numbers, that is 5, 29, 34. They represent the whole numbers. They are integers. They do not contain any fractional parts, so it means integers are numbers and they cannot contain any decimal points, but they can be signed numbers, that is integer can be positive or negative. So in this example, -7 represents -7 and 8 represents +8. So let's discuss the integers categories. The first category of integer is plain integers. They are the normal integers with a size of 4 bytes, that is 32 bits. So the range of plain integer is this one, as you can see on your screen. So your plain integer will remain within this limit. If you are performing any mathematical operation on integers and the result of the operation goes beyond this limit, then the number will become long integer. Now, what are long integer? They are the number which are larger than the plain integers. Actually, they do not have any limit. Their size can be as big as supported by your computer. So let's suppose you have number 25 and you want to convert that number to long integer. How you can do that? So in that case, you need to suffix L to the number 25 and that will make your number long integer. Now it will be stored in your big memory space, which is allocated by the computer on which you are working. Then we have Boolean. They are represented with the truth value, true or false. True is represented as 1 and false is represented with 0. Now how you can convert your Boolean equivalent of 0 and 1? It is easy. In that case, you need to use function called bool. And if you will pass 1, it will become true, and if you will pass 0 to the boolean function, it will become false. Then we have floating point numbers. Any number with fractional part is represented as floating point number. For example, 3.415 and 568.2635 represents the floating point numbers. When you use decimal point in a number, it signifies a floating point number. So 23 is a integer, whereas 23.0 is a floating point number. Floating point numbers can be described in two ways. The first form is the fractional form, which is described in a normal decimal notation. That is 35.37 is a fractional form of floating point number. So any number which is represented in decimal parts is a fractional form of the floating point number. There is another form which is called exponent notation. Exponents are used to shorten the condensed repeated multiplication. For example, you can see that we are multiplying 2 4 times with itself. So this multiplication form can be represented in the 2 raised to power 4 form. Both the forms have same output. So exponent is same as power, which indicates number of times that the factor or base is multiplied. There is scientific notations also. As you can see, numbers in the scientific notations. These are the example of scientific notations. Then we have complex numbers. Complex number is composed of real and imaginary part. For example, sum is equal to 4 plus 6j. It represents complex number. So over here 4 is the real number, whereas 6 is an imaginary component of this number. Now you may want to retrieve the real number out of the complex number. Then Python provides you function called real. Over here we have got a variable called sum which contains your complex number. So if you want to retrieve the real number part from the sum, then you can use the real function which will return you the real part. And when you want to retrieve the imaginary part, then you can use image function which will return you the imaginary part of the complex number.